Hello and welcome to Clean Good Eats. I am Sakina Bunch, your relationship health and wellness coach. Hello and welcome to Clean Good Eats. I am Sakina Bunch, your holistic relationship health and wellness coach, and we are going to make some macaroni and cheese today. Yes, now everybody has their recipe for macaroni and cheese, but I'm going to give you the simpleton's way of making macaroni and cheese. So, I like to buy the organic brands because that is very important to me. Now, if you deal with celiac or you have a sensitivity to gluten, Costco has so many amazing options for you. So this is Garofalo organic pasta, and it comes in a penne, it comes in this gemelli. I always mess up those names, but it comes in a variety of styles for you, but not elbow. So today we're not going to be making elbow macaroni and cheese. We're going to kind of put our little twist on it. But again, if you have celiac or if you have a sensitivity to wheat, you can easily get a lentil-based pasta or a chickpea-based pasta. So the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to take some chicken broth. Now, I make my own. I'll just turn this on. I make my own. We're going to bring this to a boil. And you really don't need a lot in the pot. You just want to make sure that the pasta is covered. Like I said, you don't need a lot in the pot. You just want to make sure that the pasta is covered. So that is our chicken stock. We're going to bring this to a boil first. I don't necessarily put my pasta in just right away. I know everybody has their scientific way of making pasta. Like I said, we're doing it the simpleton's way. Now, while we're waiting on this to be boiling, we're going to take some old crock Australian cheese. This one is smoked cheddar, and the other one is an extra sharp. That is the key to making good macaroni and cheese. Let me rephrase that. That is the key to making great macaroni and cheese, okay? You need to have extra sharp cheese. It's the sharpness of the cheese that brings on the deliciousness of the taste. So we are going to open this up, and I don't recommend getting the cheese that's already shredded because it has a lot of excess ingredients that you really don't need. So while we're waiting on this to boil, I'm just going to shred this up for you. All right, so now our water is at a boil. I'm going to add a little bit of salt in there. Just a little bit. Some people add oil, some people add salt. This pasta really doesn't need any oil because it doesn't really stick to itself. So I'll put some pasta in there. Remember, you want to have enough water in there where it's going to cover the top. So we're going to put that top on it for a little bit, just so that you can get it nice and simmering. And then we're going to turn it down, because if you don't turn it down, what happens is it starts to boil over. So we're going to turn it down, and we're going to leave it like that for about 15-20 minutes until it kind of packs itself down. We'll be back. That goodness. Now you can get a little tired. If you get a little tired, just take a little break. Get back into it. Consider this to be your exercise for the day. You know, at Clean Good Eats, we do believe in exercise. in all its forms. You start singing to yourself. Ooh, ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Someday, yeah, get it together and we'll get it all done. Someday. Yeah, I do start singing to myself. That's the only place I sing is to myself in my house. It's just something about being in the kitchen, you know, that I used to hate as a kid. I hated being in the kitchen unless it was a taste testing time. That was the only time I liked being in the kitchen. But there's just something about being in the kitchen now that is so therapeutic. Something about touching the food, getting it through your hands. You know, I grew up north, and it was in a suburb, not quite the city, but not quite your average suburb either. But we didn't really get to feel the earth underneath our feet. We didn't get to do many of the things that people in the country get to do. And you know, when I'm in this kitchen, when I'm gardening, when I'm doing these things that I never thought I would do, there really is something therapeutic about it. All right, so about 7 minutes into this now. It's starting to look juicy, All right. Okay. So now that we've packed this in here and we have the leaf in there. We're gonna pour some water on top of it. Tilt it to the side so that it gets down in the nooks and crannies. Look at that. See that? Now that's how it's supposed to look. That is how it's supposed to look. Okay? And you want to make sure that that leaf is fully covered. You want to make sure also that you leave space at the top, because when you have space at the top right here, remember these gases are going to come up, so it needs the space to kind of aerate. So we just leave that lid on kind of tight for 3 days. You want to check it on the second day to make sure that you kind of aerate it a little bit, because if not, it'll pop off when you take it off that third day. And you're all set. You have yourself some cranberry apple sauerkraut. Apple, cranberry, sauerkraut. It's sauerkraut, and it's gonna be good. Okay. Make sure you leave that on the counter 3 days, 72 hours, not a second sooner. All right, so now I've done that. Oh, sorry, don't come. Okay. So now we have finished our pasta. We have drained, for the most part, our pasta. Let's finish draining that out. Okay, so we've drained it out. And now we have our cheese. Ooh, the deliciousness of cheese. And we don't feel as guilty because it comes from grass-fed cows, so we're not feeling that guilty. But we've turned on our oven to 400 degrees, and now we are going to take the pasta from the pan and put it in the baking dish. Why I speak with that horrible accent, I don't know. All right, so what do I need? All right, so now we've turned on our oven to 400 degrees. We have our pasta, all the deliciousness of that. And you can really make it al dente. You do not need to cook it all the way because it is going to bake in the oven. So you don't need to cook it all the way. So we add a layer to the bottom. And then we sprinkle some cheese, because you always have to have cheese, and more cheese, right? So there's the cheese. Then we're gonna add some pepper, and we do this for every layer. So add some pepper, add a little bit of paprika. My nana would add paprika to everything, if you'd let her. And then put a little sea salt. Now we don't need a lot of sea salt. In fact, we don't even need to put sea salt on each layer because the cheese is salty enough. So now we're going to layer it again. You know, I don't know if you have these traditions in your family where you do something really, really crazy, like, you know, take the leg off of a turkey every time you're making Thanksgiving dinner, and people wonder, why are you taking the leg off of the turkey? And you're like, well, I don't know, because my mother did it. And you ask your mother why she did it, and I don't know, my mother did it. And you ask, you know, the grandmother, well, why did you do it? Well, I did it because the pan wasn't big enough, right? Well, that's kind of what's happening here. So I have these pans that I really love, these little baking dishes. I really love these baking dishes. However, I don't have tops for all of the ones that would be the size of the cheesy goodness that I'm about to make that I would like to have. So I just use 2 small ones. If I can cover 2 small ones, then there you go. All right, so now we have the good cheesiness. And then this, look, watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mix it, okay? So now we're gonna mix it because we don't just want a layer and a layer and a layer and a layer. We're gonna mix it. There we go. And then cheese on the top. Cheese on the top. Yes, I make up my own songs when I cook too. Yes, making up my own songs. All right, so now we're gonna do, yes, pepper. Okay. A little sprinkle of paprika. Because, you know, you want your food to have some color, so put some spices in it that have a little bit of color too, right? And then again, I'm gonna put the salt in our hands this time, no more than that. You see that? No more, and you just sprinkle it. And then the rest of it, chop, chop, chop away. All right, so we're gonna cover this up, and we're going to put this in the oven, 400 degrees. The rest of this. Okay, so now we're going to use an egg. I'm gonna crack it. You didn't see that. That's why it's so important to crack it on a hard surface. All right. Okay, so we cracked our egg, and we're going to take it and put it in all this cheesy goodness. All over, all over, all over, right? What this egg does is it binds. This is what makes the little nice edges on the side, right? Makes it combine nice and neatly for us. Here we go, nice and neatly. And you can feel free to put a layer of cheese on top of it too if you'd like. Okay. All right, and layer that nicely. That means our oven is heated, yay! Okay, so then we take some cheese and we're gonna layer it on the top. Nothing like a good, nice layer of cheese on the top. And then we're gonna take some milk. You can use any kind of milk that you want to use. Here we don't drink dairy milk. The only thing we actually do dairy is our cheese, because sorry, but there's really no substitute for that I've found just yet. So we're gonna add some milk to this because we do not want it to become dry. And then we're gonna mix that up too. Make sure it's not too much milk. There we go, that looks good.